Hello there, Mrs. Elke here, and thank you so much for joining me on my channel, Elke Art. If you are enjoying these videos, please make sure to hit the like button and subscribe down below because we have all kinds of fun art videos for you to check out on our channel. Now, I wanted to let you know that I just got a puppy. That is him. His name is Milo, and he is adorable. And this is Milo's very first winter in the snow. And oh my goodness, the very first time he went out there, he got something that we call the zoomies. Maybe you have a dog, maybe you've seen a dog with the zoomies, but basically he zooms around all crazy playing in the snow. It is so much fun. So this inspired a project, of course, making a puppy playing in the snow. Now, I did not do the same kind of dog as Milo. I decided to go with this puppy because he's nice and long and skinny. And of course, I had to throw a sweater on him as well. So if you would like to make an adorable puppy running through the snow, please follow along and we will create some amazing artwork together. All right. Thanks so much for watching and enjoy. I'm going to start on some watercolor paper and I want to just make a circle kind of off to one side. It really doesn't matter which side you do, and it's kind of in the middle of my page. And I'm going to start by making a circle, about this big, maybe a little bit smaller than a tennis ball. And it's okay if it's not perfect. You can definitely make it a little bit bigger if you didn't go big enough right away, because I'm just going to fill it in. So I'm starting with that and I'm going to go around. This is going to be my dog's head. And the nice thing about this too is this can be a cartoon type feel. So if it's not perfect, whatever, it just makes it look more like a cartoon. Okay, so I've got a head. It's a circle, nothing too fancy. Now I need the back side of my dog. So I'm going to make a backwards letter C. If this is kind of where the neck would be, then the dog's going to go kind of like all the way over to this side of the paper. And I'm going to make a C for the back end of my dog. Okay, so nice and big. This is like the whole back side. We'll be adding the tail to this part too. But I'm going to go ahead and make a line to connect my C. So now it looks like the letter D here. And then I'm going to paint it in with my brown. And the reason, of course, that I'm not painting my entire dog is because he will have an adorable sweater, he or she, depending on the dog you choose. So now I've got a head and now I've got a back end. I think I'm going to stop there for a second and I'm going to draw the rest. But because I'm not quite sure what color my sweater is going to be, I'm going to draw it with the background, which will be blue for the sky. So I have blue on my brush and I'm going to try to make a line that goes kind of from the head of the dog and it's going to connect to the back end of the dog here. That's the top part of the sweater. And then the bottom part of the sweater will kind of curve down a little bit and then go over to the back end as well. So now at least I have a whole dog body. I'm liking it. Now I want to switch to a bigger brush because I want to fill in the background with some blue. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of fill under the dog here with some blue. I'm going to leave a little bit of white on the bottom because I'm going to have some snow down there. Let's see, I'll fill around here with some blue, get it all kind of painted in. I'm not too worried about my ground. It's a little rough, but I'm going to add some white later to kind of smooth it out, make it look more like snow. I'm also not worried about legs. Notice my dog is now floating in midair, and it's not going to be a floating dog, but I will add legs later. All right, I've got some blue under my dog. I'm getting blue behind my dog. I have a little bit of blue in front of my dog. Now I need to go above my dog with blue. But before I get too far, I may want to figure out where his face is going to be. I think I want my dog's face to kind of be going backwards, like looking back at his tail. So I'm going to make this kind of triangular shape out of blue, and I'm going to leave that to paint in brown later. So I'm going to kind of just keep that there. I could have done this when I was doing the brown, but I thought, nah, I'll save it for later. So there's the dog's face kind of looking back towards the back end of the dog because I kind of like that. Then I'm just painting the rest of my paper blue. And I'm painting lots of different directions, just trying to get kind of all the white covered. You can see I'm leaving a little bit of a border around, but if you want to go all the way off the edges, more power to you. All right, getting all of my sky filled in with sky color, which is blue for me. And I want to make sure it's nice and full and painted. And then I can focus more on my dog and getting my dog some details. And I wanted to do the sky first so it can dry a little bit before I add all the snow that's falling in the sky. So there is my blue, nice and full. I'm liking how that's looking. Got it all the way around my dog. Notice I try to go right up to the edges. I left a little bit of white on the bottom for the snowy ground. All right. Now I can go back in with my brown quick and finish the face so that my dog's head is complete with head and nose attached to each other. And I just use the same brown. Just like that. Much better. I'm going to touch up the back a little bit. That looks good too. Okay, next. I'm cleaning off my brush because I don't want any brown on it. And I might dry it off a little bit too so it's not super wet. And I'm deciding on the sweater. I'm thinking I like this magenta. Such a beautiful bright color. I'm going to have some magenta stripes on my dog's sweater. Now, if you are a football fan, like I live in Wisconsin and we love the Packers, you could totally make your sweater based on whatever team you like, right? So I could be making some yellow and some green stripes to support the Packers, right? Or maybe you just love the color blue and you love the color green. You could do blue and green stripes. Maybe you want to make a pattern and you want to do red, yellow, blue, and focus on the primary colors. You could do that too. I think I'm going to go with 2 colors for my stripes. My first color is magenta, so I'm making some magenta stripes all the way down my sweater. Now, you can see that I'm going a little bit outside of the lines, right? My ends of my sweater are going a little bit outside of the white part, and that's not a big deal. It just makes it look a little extra fluffy. You can also see that my lines have a little bit of a curve to them. That makes it so the dog doesn't look as flat. It makes him look a little bit more rounded. If you wanted to get really fancy, you could even add a little bit of shadow on the bottom part of the stripes, and that would give it another kind of hint that it's not a flat dog, but a rounded dog. Next, I want to add some purple. So I'm going to go ahead and put purple in between my magenta stripes. That way, my sweater looks complete. You can see the little bumps kind of in between the stripes also kind of makes it look like a more fluffy sweater. And again, if you wanted to get really fancy, you could make it a little darker on the bottom, or you could even add highlights to the top of your sweater to make it fancy like that as well. So that would just be another way you could go above and beyond if you would like. I'm keeping mine pretty simple. All right, I'm liking the sweater, I'm liking the dog. Now it's time to add some details. So the first thing I want to do is go in with a fatter brush and thicken up my snow a little bit. I also want to make the line a little bit more bumpy, like this dog has been running around in the snow, so it's not all perfect and smooth anymore. because, dogs don't keep snow perfect and smooth, especially when they're running and jumping and going all crazy with the zoomies through the snow. So I'm filling my snow with a little bit of color, and because my blue is still wet, it's mixing with my white. But that's okay. It just makes my snow look like it has some shadows or some shading. I'm liking the way that's looking. I think I'm going to be done with the ground, and now I want to add some details to my dog. First off, ears. Now, the fun part about this is you can put the ears wherever you want. You could put them down, you can put them up, you could put them sideways. When dogs run around all crazy, their ears go crazy too. So decide where you want your ears. I think I'm going to have mine one up and one kind of backwards. And then I'm going to go ahead and paint those in to connect to my dog. Now I ran out of room on the left, but that's okay. I can just make my ear go right off the page and it will still look believable for my dog. So this ear right here will just go right off the side. Not a big deal. But gives the dog some movement, like it's kind of playing or running around in the snow. I'm also going to add a nose. I'm just using dark brown right now for all of these. And I want to add a tail, and I think I'm going to have my tail kind of curled up like that, kind of like a hook. And then I'm just going to make it a little fatter so it doesn't look so skinny. But up to you. It's your dog and your tail, so you can make it as skinny or as fat as you would like. Now, my dog is also floating still, so while I have this brown on my brush, I thought it might be a good idea to give my dog some legs. Now, you could put the legs straight up and down underneath the dog, but if you put them at a diagonal like this one, it can make the dog look like it's running. And like I said, my dog loves to run through the snow. So, if I put him a little bit forward like this in the front, and a little bit diagonal in the back, it makes the dog look like it's in motion running around. Maybe it's looking back because it wants to play fetch and there's a ball coming in the air right towards it. Or maybe it's just looking up at the snow. Who knows? But my dog is running. Notice that my shapes for my legs are very simple. I didn't even draw paws. If you want to add paws to yours, be my guest. I kept mine pretty simple. I'm going to add a mouth. Again, very simple, just a line. And then I want to go ahead and wash my brush really well to get all of the brown out so I can switch to some white. I want to use some white for the eye of my dog. So I'm going to go ahead and draw a circle right kind of in the middle of the head for the eye. And then I'm also going to use some white for some falling snow. So you can use the end of the brush. Sometimes I'll even turn my brush upside down and use the back part because that can make really nice snow. But today I'm just using the front. When I draw snow falling from the sky, I like to kind of draw it in little clusters. So I do like 3 or 4 right next to each other, and then I move on and do another little clump because it doesn't usually fall perfectly from the sky. I'm going to keep on doing this to kind of fill my sky. And then notice I am putting some on the dog too, so it looks like there's snow falling in front of the dog as well as behind the dog. I'm going to fill in all of my page with all this beautiful falling snow. The dog is loving it, having so much fun playing in the snow. I'm going to put a little bit right on the tip of his nose. You could also get a little bit fancier and make some snowflakes instead of just dots. So sometimes that's kind of nice to make like a cross and then an X. That's how I usually make my snowflakes. Cross, X, cross, X, cross, X. I won't do tons of them, just kind of a couple here and there. Just makes some of the snow look a little bit fatter. It gives it some interest. I'm liking that as well. And then of course my dog still needs an eyeball. So I'm going to go back to brown and give my dog an eyeball, and then I will call this a masterpiece. I hope you had fun making these puppy in the snow with me. I know I will have fun this winter watching my dog run around crazy in the snow. Thanks so much for joining me today. Let me know how it goes. And if you like these videos, hit that like button and subscribe down below. Thanks for watching. See you again soon.